Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be covering the 3 books that changed my life forever. I went from a homeless person, essentially a homeless man, sleeping in London, Euston Station, on the green marble floor, to now being a multi-millionaire. It's been a wild ride, a wild journey for the good and the bad, but the main thing that I've learned through the years is reading made all the difference. I started to read a book a week when I was around 15, 16 years old, and since then everything has changed. So you can see kind of these are top of my favorite books. They're very, very valuable, but in today's world, information is getting condensed more and more. It's very hard to sometimes sit through the book and read every page, and especially when you have to read hundreds of books. So I'm here to share with you the 3 main books that changed my life permanently. And actually, if you stay till the end of the video, I'll introduce the bonus book, which is a super cool one. So let's get into it. Book number 1 is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And this book is a must read, especially when you are in your early stages of entrepreneurship journey. You might have an internal fight between yourself where certain things that were taught to you by your family, by your friends, or school that you went to might have worked until the day that for you to get to this stage in your life. But now you have a calling, internal calling from your heart, from your mind, kind of your body is telling you that you're ready for the journey ahead. But your old habits and your old thinking might not actually vibe and work with the new lifestyle that you're trying to create. And this is exactly the time where you need to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book, in the early days of entrepreneurship in your journey, is an absolute game changer. It will change your mind and it will tell you the things that kind of will sabotage you in the future, how to avoid certain pitfalls and make you much more successful right from the bat. I've worked with entrepreneurs that read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the ones that haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they're very different in kind of like a more negative way. I'll try not to spoil the book for you, but it gives a very good example, a difference between an employee and an entrepreneur slash business owner slash investor. There's different campuses of people and there's different mindsets. So the Poor Dad is the salaried one and the Rich Dad is the investor, asset holder, business owner, that kind of thing. But it splits the 2 personalities into 2 different segments and it explains to you how both of them work. And then that way you can choose which one you want to be in. But before, if you've never read the book, you'll kind of really struggle in your life transitioning from a normal employee that has very little responsibilities and very small paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, transitioning to a big personality, a successful man that you really want to be. And that book links exactly bridges the 2 personalities. It allows you to go from an employee into a really successful entrepreneur. So must read, that's number 1 before you read any other book, before you get confused into all the rest of them. Must read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, and the book number 2 is oversubscribed. And this one doesn't get the attention that it needs, but a couple of really close friends and successful entrepreneurs introduced me to this book and it was insane. This is after you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and you're getting your mindset in place. Most likely you're opening up your own brand, your own business, you're moving on to your own journey. And this book will teach you how to really become successful. And in my personal journey, kind of took me 3 to 4 years before I found this book. And essentially what it talks about is how to get oversubscribed in the business that you build. And oversubscription means that whatever you do, product or service, you're gonna outsell or sell out everything you have. And that for any entrepreneur is the ultimate dream come true, because that means you sold all your product, you sold all your services. Your revenue keeps coming in, your profitability comes in, your investors are happy, and you're scaling in the capitalistic world so fast because you are oversubscribed and you have a lot more customers and users than you actually need. So super powerful book. It's a game changer when it comes to revenue and succeeding in business, because the first book is why and kind of how to open a business, but this one is how to actually succeed in business, because don't forget 95% of people fail in business in the first 5 years. But this book is one of the main reasons why you will succeed. And the last book is The Mountain Is You. And this honestly is one of the very recent introductions into my life, and it happens to be by another YouTuber. They were going through their own video and kind of recommending books that changed their life, and it was a very, very big internal game changer, because naturally you think the problems are kind of external and you would think, well, I could have succeeded if the economy was better, I could have succeeded if I was raised in a different family, on a different continent, different planet. But there's a lot of self-sabotaging that you do that either you are already aware or you're not aware of yet. We all do it. But when you self-sabotage, a certain amount of time will go by before you start to notice it. And there will be a certain video that you want to do and then you won't do it. Rather than taking that really important call, you'd rather clean the office, wash the dishes, go wash your car, walk your neighbor's dog, anything but to do the thing that you know you need to do. And that could be at any stage in life, either taking your exams, opening up a brand, unveiling a new product, going into a fundraise, which is a very big topic for entrepreneurs. You'll try to do everything other than actually doing the really important task. This is when you read this book. No spoiler alerts, but it's going to teach you exactly, it's going to show you, like in a genuine, very, very genuine way, it's going to show you exactly what's preventing you from succeeding. And it is you. Your own being and your own wiring upstairs is preventing you from getting out of your old skin into a new body, or going from a caterpillar to a butterfly, essentially. So you're at the moment a caterpillar, a very soft little worm wiggling through life, and you kind of wiggled there for many years now, and you're ready to, to take flight and go into the next phase of life. And it requires your mental state to shift and go into the next level up. And this book tells you how to unlock that. So massively a game changer, life changer, career changer. But if you had only 3 books to read, these are the 3 books here you have to read in that sequence. The first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad, the second one is Oversubscribed, and the third one is this one. Because this one kicks in when you see early stages of success, but for whatever reason that you might not know yourself, which is very natural, you don't know why you can't get to the next level or why you procrastinate. Procrastinate is essentially the word. But this book shows you a very, very powerful way how to beat your own self at the game of procrastination and never procrastinate again. So massively, massively important book to read. And now for the guys that stayed all the way until the end, there's a bonus book I have to share with you. This book is very powerful, but it requires for you to be at a certain stage. After you read those 3 books, you kind of know what you want to do in life. That's the first thing. Then you get good at sales. So you get the revenue and the cash flow, you're building your team, the whole brand, whatever you do, either service or product, your brand is growing. Then you overcome yourself and you become very powerful. You don't procrastinate anymore. You don't bullshit yourself. You become very effective as a person and a leader. Then the next trap for you to avoid is working every single day in and day out, never stopping. Because the revenue might be coming in and the company might be growing, and you might be thinking, in the next couple of years, I'm going to have a very successful exit and everything's going to be fine and everything's going to be great. I'm going to get payout, etc. A lot of entrepreneurs and young guys would be thinking that way. If you're on this channel and watching this video now, you're most likely a high performer and you want to prove a point to yourself, to the world, to your family, to people around you. You're very much driven and willing to work and go all out for a long amount of time, for many years. The trap that you're going to fall into is continuously working and thinking that you can do everything by yourself. And this is where this book comes in. The E-Myth Revisited. And go for the revisited edition because it's kind of a little bit easier to digest. But the main thing here is the takeaway of systems. And if you told me in the very early days, systems, I'm like, thanks bro. The reason why I hated school and business lessons in school was because they were talking about systems and shareholders. And I was like, okay, none of this is actually applicable. I just want freedom. I want to travel around the world, etc. You have to read this book and understand how it works, because kind of the short story is you might be working at a cake factory or like a bakery and you see people making cakes, and you immediately as an entrepreneur are going to think, okay, I can make this cake better for less cost, so I can sell it cheaper, it will taste better, and I can have a fresher and faster delivery than these guys. I'm going to go and open my own company, my own brand, my own store, and show them how it's done, and I don't have a boss to reply to. I can work on my own terms, etc. And that's where the trap starts, is because as an entrepreneur you saw only the product. So in this case it's going to be the cake. You saw the cake and you thought, okay, I can improve on that. But you might forget that for every business, there's a lot of systems that have to go in place. You probably haven't thought about, you're going to have to do accountancy. You're going to have to